Greetings, Black family, and welcome to SBL Talk. This is the first ever SBL Talk episode in history, and hopefully not the last, but that will depend on the audience. Let me see who's in the building. BB482, brother, you got ripped off. BB488, Straight Black Pride. This is not J. BB488 brother Elijah. BB488, Straight Black Pride to our wonderful producer, Cindy Ashby. Greetings to Sister Nina. And a BB488 to Real Black Gentlemen. So, I'm going to make one or two exceptions. I mean, based on the size of the audience, I'm going to come to two conclusions. One, y'all normally can't stay up late. Or two, nobody wants to talk about Black love. So I don't know which one it is. Y'all let me know. But by the way, make sure y'all can hear me. Give me a 1 in the chat. While I try to get myself together, I was trying to get some new music. Here we go. That's not new, but trying to get some new music. But let me tell y'all something before we get started. I did not realize how poor I didn't realize how much of a dearth of what do we call it? What we used to call back in the day love music. You know, soul music, R&B. I didn't realize how much that wasn't a thing. And some of the best music I found, actually, sadly enough, is not even by all Black people. You got some mixed people, some people I couldn't identify, things like that. So that kind of shows the state of where we are. And that's why we're having tonight's discussion. So we're going to see how this goes, right? So y'all let me know how y'all feeling tonight. The object of this show is to try to have some intelligent, mature discourse around Black love and Black relationships. Because here's the reality of the situation. If we don't figure this out, there will be no more Black people in America. By the way, that is the title of tonight's discussion. Can straight Black love thrive in 21st century America? Right? And let me take a quick sidebar before I get into it. I looked up, I was doing a lot of content creation stuff and keeping my ear to the ground digitally. And I looked up, and guess who one of the groups that is supporting Kamala Harris. It was the Black Queer Men of America or something like that. Yeah, whatever. Some group of homophiles coming out and supporting her and giving her money and stuff. You know what that means. I'm definitely not voting for her in any way, shape, form, or fashion, regardless of the amount of pressure or duress. It'll never happen. So, doesn't mean I'm voting for anyone else, but I'm definitely not voting for her, no matter what happens. I just had to get that off my chest. So, we're going to start off tonight, and you can read along with me. You don't have to say it out loud, but you can read along with me. I have created something false let me correct myself. I have made something built upon our ancestors' work, right? So our ancestor, Dr. Francis Chris Wilson, made a black oath. I always thought it was the black oath, but now I looked in the book, it's a black oath. So building upon that, I have decided to make, I guess I gotta take me out of here. We're gonna start off with the straight black oath. Repeat after me or not. Y'all ready? I pledge allegiance to my own black self-respect and to the respect of all other straight, black, and proud people on planet Earth, all of whom are victims of global hegemony and white domination. And I pledge to use all of my life energy, intelligence, and creativity in all areas of people activity to eradicate the system of Zionist hegemony and white domination on planet Earth and throughout the known universe, and to replace it with the system of Mayat, which is truth, justice, righteousness, and reciprocity, so that the eternal survival and eventual dominion of Black African people can be ensured on planet Earth and throughout the universe for all eternity. So help me God and our beloved ancestors. Ashe. So if y'all like that, let me know. I may institute that as the official straight black pride oath. And yes, I came up with that today. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a quick, I put together a quick framework to base the discussion around. And then if anybody wants to come in to agree or disagree, I will send the link out and you can come on and we can have a discussion. And, that's how it's going to work. So this show, SBL Talk, is meant to be interactive, unlike the center. Y'all know me. When I do the center, I don't really like talking to nobody unless I'm interviewing a select few people. This is going to be completely different. Each week, I'll set out a framework and then we'll go from there. So, all right, y'all ready? Let's do this. Here we go. The Black Love Report. First things first. The cultural importance of marriage in traditional African and traditional African American culture. Marriage was an expected part of adulthood. In many African societies, you were not considered an adult if you were not married. The family was considered the foundational institution. I get to it. I just want to make sure it's not covering up any of the slides. Thank you, brother. Where was I before I was not so rudely interrupted? Oh, you were not considered, if you were not married, you were not considered an adult. The family was considered the foundational institution of the society. There was no debate about the equality of men and women, as each had their jobs to do. That part is very important. The reason there's so much debate and discussion is because people aren't actually doing their job. If you were doing your job, you wouldn't have as much time for debate or discussion about what job you should be doing. But since most people are not doing their job, not doing it correctly, we have confusion. During enslavement, Black men and women would often escape and try to find their spouses and children, risking life and limb. Black people would buy their loved ones with money that they saved up working overtime. Think about that. People, you were enslaved, right? Working for free. Then you would use the skills that you had, whether you're a blacksmith or a carpenter, you had some other type of skilled trade. You made quilts, blankets, things like that. You seamstress. You would take the money from that, working on your own time, to buy your freedom, and then go find your loved ones, find your wife, find your children, and buy their freedom, right? Going across states, ducking slave catchers. This is the type of love that Black people used to have for each other. That's why I put it up here, right? See, one of the biggest problems I have with most people is their arguments and discussions are ahistorical. You have to speak from a historical foundation to have proper analysis. Most people do not understand their history. They're not rooted in culture. So therefore, all analysis that they make is incorrect. Let me move forward. Tax on the Black family. Attack on the Black family began in the Kaffir lines, where African men and women were separated. This continued in the slave dungeons like Elmina, and continued on the slave ships where men, women, and children were separated. Our enemies know that our strength as a people comes from the family. It is the family that allows us to pass down our culture and traditions. Ancestral memories passed down preserve our natural survival instincts. Without this, we are sitting ducks for our enemies. Here's the reality of the situation. Remember, I was talking about being ahistorical. One of the mistakes that our ancestors would make, like, sometimes grandma, grandpa, they didn't tell us what happened, right? They didn't tell us the issues they had with Europeans. And because of that, a lot of people run around thinking that everything is sweet, as they say. And what happens is a lot of times you go off into the world, you think that, there is no more racism. And that's why you see our people shocked when something happens. And they're like, oh my God, this stuff can't still be happening. Why not? What has changed? Right? A mulatto president can't change anything. You know what I'm saying? If a mulatto president couldn't save Trayvon Martin from being needlessly and viciously assaulted and murdered, what you think this current president or the next president that y'all are hoping for is going to do? But she's even worse than the last one. But I digress. Anyway, Black marriage, y'all already know this, but let's look at the stats anyway. In 1960, approximately 61% of Black people were married. By 2008, the number was 32%, almost half. Currently, about 27%, this is actually up over the last couple of years, because it used to be 24%. Of Black women are married, and about 1 in 3 Black men are married. About 50% of U.S. adults have never been married. 1 out of 2. Right? So think about that. 50% have never been married. And I didn't put it up here, but the divorce rate right now in the Black community is hovering around 50%. Until 1970, Black women were more likely to be married than European women. That's right. That's 2 years after Gloria Steinem released her manifesto after Black Power, women's liberation. So almost up into the moment that she wrote that, Black women were more likely to be married than European women. And it's been all downhill ever since. Let's see. While 27% of Black women are married, 61% have at least one child. Meanwhile, only 46% of Black men have children, despite 33% of Black men being married. I'm going to stop right here. Those two stats are the root of a lot of the issues. Let me correct myself. These two stats are the root of a lot of the discussion and a lot of the complaint that Black men have. They don't say it. Yeah, brother, these are the most recent numbers I can find. Like the numbers have, like a lot of the numbers from this latest report have shown a lot of the statistics going up, a couple of percentage points. But as I was saying, this is the root right now of a lot of the complaint, because ultimately it's about at the psychological root. The biggest complaint that men have, not just Black men, but men in general, is women have, especially in the Black community now, what I'm about to say, women have for not quite as long as I've been an adult, but almost as long as I've been an adult, Black women have been disparaging their quote unquote baby daddy, right? I mean, again, we're talking since the 90s, definitely. It seemed to be a thing that started happening in the 90s, right? So the 90s, that's 30 years ago, because it's almost 2025. So for 25, 30 years, 30 years, 2 generations now. 2 generations, Black women have been saying that their children's father is not worthy. I'll say, because we're trying to keep it clean here, right? Now, the thing about it is, when you say that, and then men who kind of intuitively know the disparity as far as number of childless men to childless women, then what women are saying without actually intending to say it is that they have chosen lesser men to reproduce with, and then come to other men to complain about the lesser men that they reproduce with. Right? Now, we're just going based on what the women are saying about the men. We're not talking about doing further investigation. We're not talking about none of that. So that sets the perception to the men that there's no point in being men of character, being men of principle, being men who are loyal, being men who are upstanding. Because what's the point of doing any of that if the men who are the opposite of that are the ones that are reproducing? Because ultimately, at the root of forming a relationship, one of the primary goals is reproduction, right? Like we like that, for whatever reason, we like to just skip over that part, because we've been reproducing so randomly and willy-nilly that nobody actually like to look at it and say, oh yeah. Because this is, again, it takes 2 people to produce 1 person. And then the part that we like to forget is the fact that it takes 2 people minimum to make that 1 person into a healthy African, in our case, right? Minimum. So we start off with reproduction and then wonder why people are in the condition they're in. But Elijah Muhammad said something wise. He said the origin of a thing determines its nature. If our children are born in chaos, our children are born in dysfunction, our children are born in the middle of vitriol and hatred between the parent. It's much more difficult for that child to grow up psychologically healthy. It's much more difficult for that child to grow up to be a high achiever. Much more difficult for that child to grow up to respect and love Black people. Right? But we don't want to look at that part. We don't want to look at the fact that we have, from the inception of the child, set them up to fail by the nature in which they were created. You see what I'm saying? We're not looking at it that way. But it's the reality of the situation. And some of us have lived through it as children. And some of us have overcome it. And many of us have not. Right? But that's the reality of the situation. So when sisters hear men complain about that, what's the term they use? Chad and Tyrone, or Pookie and Ray Ray, and all that. This stat: 27% of women married, 61% having children, but only 46% of men having children. This is the root of that disparity, and that disparity it alters men's perception of women, and it makes dating more difficult because you simply have less childless women for men to be able to form families with. It's just that. It's that simple, right? Modern impediments to Black love. 1, integration. It's plain and simple. Look, let's just be honest here. When Black people had to be with Black people and had to be around with Black people and had to love Black people to survive, we had more Black love. Right? This is an indisputable fact. You know, people like to it's a word I'm looking for. People like to rewrite history nowadays and try to say that, you know, grandma wasn't happy and grandpa was doing this and this and that. And I'm not saying it was perfect, but we had more Black love. It's just simple. I know, I was here. I saw it. The atmosphere was different. The way Black people treated each other was different. The way Black people acted was different. Our mentality was different. The way we carried ourselves was different. The respect we had for each other was different. The self-respect we had was different. Everything was different. And I contend it was better. Right? But for those who haven't lived long enough to experience that, they don't understand. So since integration, what has happened? We've been interacting more with different people, different nationalities, races, and so forth, so on. And one of the things you basically see is, what do you hear people say? Okay, I can't get along with Black women in America, or I can't get along with Black men. But people, of course, use derogatory terms. They don't usually say Black men and Black women. And then what? What's the first thing they think? I'm going to go and get me and fill in the blank. Usually it's the European female or the random Negro. And more and more of our sisters and run around with Billy Bob, right? And bottom shelf Brad and so forth. So, you know, you got the passport bros trying to travel around the world. I assume to find a wife. You got the divestiture crew. You got all that going on because everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side. But the quote treacherous MC, no matter where you go, there you are. right? You're carrying yourself and your baggage with you. And if you haven't been successful amongst your own, high probability you won't be successful in that other country or amongst that other culture, because they don't understand the things you've been through. They don't understand the things your people been through. They don't understand your traumas. They don't understand your particular way of speaking, acting, thinking, praying. You know what I'm saying? You're bringing all your ancestors with you when you step over there, right? And so the idea that you're going to find something better, you know, maybe not. One thing we never talk about, the crack war and mass incarceration. Crack was chemical warfare against black people. I don't know why we don't put it in that context. You know, I have a video. How many people ever saw the press conference in California? I can't remember the year. It may have been 1990, late 90s, 1998, something like that. Greetings to Lee Clinton. Something like that. And in it, the CIA director Deutsch was having a town hall meeting. There was some sister there that was a congressperson or something. She was in there basically blocking, you know, protecting your Rugu. Sister Nina, you should remember this, because this your region, somewhere in your region, somewhere in the state. I think, or at least it should have been. Actually, let me not say that. I don't actually know where it was. I'm making up something. Anyway, but a California, some type of police, I don't know if he's California Highway Patrol, sheriff, so whatever. I don't know. Anyway, to make a short story long, he basically told the CIA director that he had been recruited by the CIA that would protect their drug running operation into America. Right? But we never talk about that. Like, we talk, for example, we talk about reparations. We never talk about the crack. Like, we can trace that directly to the United States government, thanks to Gary Webb. Right? I mean, it's indisputable. I mean, you know, you ever get a chance, find the book Dark Alliance, you find it in a library or something, it's all there. So we don't talk about that. So we don't talk about the ramifications of it. We just accept it as is. Right? Mass incarceration. Mass incarceration came from the crack war. The crack war came from the government. The results, a large percentage of men being locked up for the vast part of their reproductive lives and coming out altered permanently. Some of them more violent, some of them more predatory, some of them had been victimized, come out effeminized. You see what I'm saying? Having more trouble interacting with women, coming out more angry, depressed. So yeah, we don't talk about that, but that's a modern impediment to black love. Hip hop. Just keep it a buck. 35 straight years and counting of calling out women B's and H's, and calling ourselves N-words. It's kind of hard to have any love when using derogatory language or allowing other people to use derogatory terminology about your women for 2 whole generations. Right? I'm saying. Childhood sexual abuse. Again, this is something that nobody wants to talk about. we've had programs and try to have community meetings on this issue, and nobody wants to talk about it. The sisters don't want to talk about it. Brothers certainly don't want to talk about it. Sisters probably don't want to talk about it because brothers don't want to talk about it. But yet we see it walking around. We see it in how some of our people act. Do we really think that little boy that's now 6 feet tall is switching because nothing happened to him? That he wearing a wig and a dress because nothing happened to him? Are we really going to let people tell us that that's normal? You see what I'm saying? Do we think something didn't happen to Sexy Red, that's just normal for people to be acting like that? Right? You think it's normal for dudes to be running around calling themselves Saucy Santana? That they just come out the womb that way? Like some of the people, you can see it on them. Some of the people, you can see it in their eyes. That's why a lot of celebrities wear shades. Right? But we don't want to talk about it. When you put it on the table, I remember, weirdly enough, I remember when, what's the name? When Kevin Samuels was alive. And a sister was about to talk about her trauma. And she was dancing around and he was kind of like, man, come on, get to it, get to the point. And I know exactly what she was saying, but she didn't want to put it on the table. And then he went on to say something to the effect of women always talking about their trauma and this and this and that. Nah, it's real. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, the way he would act sometimes made me wonder about had he survived something. Right? But we'll never know that. But this definitely contributes to the dysfunction in our community and this dysfunction between men and women. Because how can you have a healthy sense of self and a healthy healthy opinion of Black people if you're violated by a Black person? And that goes for men or women. The sad part over there, I can't remember the estimate, so I won't count stats. But let's just say that amongst men, it's going up at a faster rate than it is amongst women. But the reason it's not going up as fast amongst women is because so many women had already been victimized. Like, it's kind of hard for the numbers to keep going up. B48 to raw idol vital, right? So, this is a major impediment to Black love. It takes a lot for someone to overcome that to be in a healthy relationship. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of brothers are getting into relationship with women who are survivors, and the woman hasn't put it on the table, and the man can't figure out why certain things trigger her and why she acts certain ways and why. You see what I'm saying? So this is something that we have to, it has to be addressed. I mean, I've done a couple of shows on it. Nobody listened to those. Nobody, like I said, nobody wants to talk about it. Because there's this shame that people, naturally feel as survivors. But we don't need to be shaming the person who was victimized because they didn't do anything. We need to be shaming these predators. And we need to be more than shaming them. You understand what I'm saying, right? And we need to be, as men, we need to be, you understand what I'm saying? Oh, by the way, quickly, we are up, I believe, over 900 subscribers. So to the new subscribers, I thank you all. We are, from now on, every time the center comes on, I'm going to count down from 100. So we're less than 100 away. Let's see. Black women's embrace of feminism and 304 culture. For those of y'all who know me, you know I've done a lecture on called The Goddess Black Woman. And I have a section on feminism. Very thorough. Of course, historically researched and accurate. And I'm going to just say this. Our women have no idea what they've embraced when they embrace feminism. And it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's so pervasive now that if you're under a certain age, and I always use the age of 35, you've been immersed in feminism so long, you don't even know what you're advocating or why you think the way you think and why you have the ideas you have. And I've seen some of these younger women, go on shows and streams and whatnot and say stuff. And they say the most ridiculous stuff. And as the young people say, they say it with their chest. And then when someone challenges them on it, they just look like, almost like, how people used to look when you question the Bible. That's the look they have. Like, oh my, how dare you question this? And then a few logical questions to them, they're just totally befuddled because they adopted an ideology that they don't understand and don't know the origin of. Right? Talked about it before. The origin of a thing determines its nature. The mind that an ideology comes from determines its nature as well. Right? And 304 culture. Just call it what it is. Just be completely frank and to the point. The way black women act now is not the way black women used to act. It's not a women's nature to want to be sexy red. And Nicki Minaj and Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Even though I ain't like kind of, I be trying to give Megan Thee Stallion a pass, but she just always doing something wrong, so I really can't. You know what I'm saying? Can't give her a pass. Can't give Glorilla a pass. I be trying, but when she be putting on that ridiculous blonde weave, I can't give her no pass. But yeah, what we see now, the standard that we see now of black women is not traditional black womanhood. Running around, working all the time in public, and on the internet, and calling each other B's and H's, and dancing on people's tables at restaurants, and fighting and cussing and spitting and talking about bodily fluids, and that's not black women. Not how black women traditionally acted. Black women have become caricatures of themselves and don't even realize it, apparently. Right? And then when we talk about the quality of men, yeah, I know the quality of men is low. I've been saying that long time ago. Long ago. But the quality of women is like scary because it seems to happen so quickly. It seemed like in the last 10 years, just because have we always had women out there doing stuff? Absolutely. It's that we've been in this society, but it was not it was a smaller minority. See, like each generation, it becomes a larger minority a larger minority to the point of seeming, from a man's point of view, seeming like a majority of our women. Kind of hard to, I mean, ain't gonna lie, it's kind of hard to love them people. You know, I don't know how, what's that dude that's married to Cardi B? I don't know how he does it. He probably does it because she ain't black. But knowing her, how she act and knowing her past, man, we ain't married them folks back in my day. Where we at? Oh yeah, modern impediments to black love. Another one, ridiculous quote unquote standards. You know, must have the offset. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Offset. Anyway, the 666 man, the quote unquote high value man that nobody talked about until Evan Samuels, and the unicorn woman, right? Men have these standards for women that basically don't exist. You know what I'm saying? Or women that are so rare that they might as well not exist. And then try to measure women to that non-existent standard. It's not gonna work. That's something that you created in your mind. The 666 man, he exists, but he's so rare. And usually the women that talk about the 666 man, which is 6 feet, 6 figures, y'all can figure out the rest. He has access to a multitude of women. Because not only must he be 6 feet and 6 figures, but he also must be in tremendous shape. And well skilled, you know what I'm saying, in certain areas of people activity. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, women can find that man, but usually you're going to share that man with other women because that's their dream man too. Right? That's why so many NBA players have so many women. They are, basically, an NBA player is thought of in essence as the prototype of the 666. Well, depending on the social status of the woman, like regular middle class and down, that would be. Upper class women have a different standard, different type of man. They want somebody with more class, more education, things like that. Right? Educational disparities. More women hold degrees, and they hold those degrees in higher standards than men. Now, when you look at the money, realistically, still, overall, individually, men are making more than women. Black men are making more than black women anyway. And men overall. But I wonder how much of that is skewed by us having I don't know percentage wise, but a number of extremely well off men. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, those educational disparities and women holding those degrees at a high value, that causes a thing. Because I know women with degrees that still ain't making no money. I know men without degrees that they make money because they usually do something with their hands and they make money. But I've also heard brothers say that they try to holler at some sister, and, you know, she got her degree in this and this and that, and they'll look down at him because he's a blue collar man. That man pulling in $125 a year. You know what I'm saying? And this was a few years ago. Not today's 125, but like before Biden's inflation 125. So that's something else causes confusion. And social media in general. I mean, YouTube's notorious for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the discussions on YouTube are almost always negative. Right? Almost always negative. I don't even want to even go into it with YouTube because I'm supposed to be. This is supposed to only be an hour long. And then send out the link, and whoever wants to come on and they can agree or disagree. what are the consequences of broken families? In no particular order. Lack of racial loyalty. I said before, it's hard to love black people. When you come from a family with two black people who don't get along, the two people that made you. Loss of economic power. You know, it's easier to pass down the house that you didn't have to sell because of the divorce. Just as an example, right? You can build so much more wealth and everything with two incomes coming together than you can with one. You just simple mathematics. And it allows you to pass down things and be able to build generational wealth. People talk about generational wealth and don't even have a family, right? So I don't even know. Sometimes we be putting the cart before the old cart before the horse. We say you got rid of like that balloon pops thing. Yeah. I've only seen clips of that. I don't even know what that comes on. I don't know who started. I don't know anything about it. You know, it's like a low key site. But yeah, the balloon pop thing. I see people. I see clips. People pop the balloon for the person to even walk out. Like as soon as they walk out, people are like bloop. I'm like, you had no hope, no chance. You just walk out there, the people look at you. I don't like it. And then you hear say, "Oh, I ain't like his outfit." I mean, okay. We can at least wait for the man to say something first. Oh, I didn't like usually with the women it's like superficial stuff. The men, I mean, it's superficial either way because again, people popping their balloons like literally. The people don't even introduce themselves. They're like, "Hey, this is Dave" or whatever, and it's like they just like, wow, it's crazy. So, but it keeps people talking. I'm sure their analytics are going bonkers, whoever it is or whatever platform they're on. I know it's going crazy because everybody talks about it and everybody uses their content to react to. That's all I see. Broken families. High rates of intra-racial crime, which feeds the prison industrial complex. I mean, we all got the data and statistics. Broken families produce broken peoples who are preyed upon then by the colonial military force known as the police, and then put into work camps known as jail to be used to make money for our enemies. So we feed that with broken families, right? But we don't look at it that way. Like, how many people ever look at it that way? It's interesting. Somebody sent me a message, and as they said, "I know you're in the show right now, doing the show right now." Anyway, yeah. Next, more effeminized males and masculinized females. All you gotta do is go outside. I don't know how bad it is where y'all at, but here in the DMV, a sister with locks wearing an aunt, it is probably 50% chance that she does not like men, that she's a lesbian, right? So the type of women that we would have looked to invite to SBPM event or try to start a conversation with because of their look, they have the quote unquote Afrocentric look. Nowadays, it's as much of a chance of that woman being a lesbian as it is her not. Uh, broken families, children easier prey for the predators, not only in our community, but the predators that come from outside of our community. Right? Like, again, we don't like to talk about this part. One of the ways that predators, why they find it so easy to get to our children, is because a lot of times our women are looking for someone to help them with that child. And when a man comes in and says, "Oh yeah, I'll help him. I'll put him in this program. I'll do this. I'll pay for that." This is how deep it is. This doesn't just happen in America. This happens on the African continent. Europeans are going to Africa claiming that they're going to help some child or take them to this prestigious school in Europe and this and this and that. And then they take advantage of that child. But this happens here in America. Sometimes it's just the mother's new boyfriend. Because because predators of all races, but especially black and white in this case, they seek out quote unquote single mothers to prey on their children. And I wrote about this 15 years ago in a blog. Before they straight black prior to Sister Fonessa. I don't even know how she shows up late for a late show. I don't even understand that. That's funny. I'm gonna assume she showed up early, didn't see nobody, and left back out. But yeah, this is a thing, and I talked about this years ago, before straight black pride existed, before I knew who Jeannie was. I talked about this. I've been trying to tell sisters, look that man up on and make sure he ain't on the registry. Get them apps that show you where the predators are in your community if you got children. Right? Get you some type of protection for your house that y'all know what I'm talking about. Get you a hole puncher. Learn how to use it. Keep it locked away safe, but make sure it's reachable for you, not for the children. Right? Because the predators are out here. We know that. And they're preying upon our children. And lastly, the consequences of broken families. Fear warriors are being produced. We're just not producing thorough dudes anymore. It's just, I mean, I'm going to use somebody, I talked about him before. And this person has both his parents. I don't know what's going on. The quarterback, the now quarterback of the Chicago Bears is from DC. From what I've seen, he's never been with a black woman, and he out here painting his nails and carrying around a pink phone, what you call it? The phone case. This is an NFL quarterback looking like this. And he's from DC. Like, first of all, you couldn't be kind of light-skinned acting like that in the old DC. You ain't making it to the NFL. You just, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's going to hurt you either on or off the field. Now he's a number one pick. Hey, I'm not mad at him for being a number one pick. I'm just saying, what has his father been doing? You're keeping it a buck. This is the type of quote unquote men we're producing nowadays. So when the women talk about the men aren't the same, that's not even debatable. Like, we can't even argue that. Because apparently that dude is straight walking around like that, acting like that. And playing football, what used to be the most masculine game you could play, basically. Other than, but you don't play boxing, as they say. Right. And I'm almost through. Hold on. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay. Here's the way. So I got questions. Can the black family in America be repaired? Why wasn't the modern conscious movement more focused on fixing this problem? Y'all remember the days when straight black pride, when they told Jeannie, they told the whole movement, we got more important things to worry about than fighting against homophilia? Based on a condition of our people now, who was right and who was wrong? What role does black male effeminization play in low marriage rates? Right? Do black women even value or desire marriage to black men anymore? I would love to have some sisters answer that. And what role has television, movies, social media played in how black people see each other? Yeah, that's supposed to be an end. I bet. We talked about scandal. We talked about man, you can really go back to the blaxploitation movies. I didn't really realize it until I watched some. That era started. Actually, I don't know when that era started. Now that I think about it, I don't know if that started in the 60s or 70s. When did Shaft come out? So everything after Shaft is considered that, but whatever. But I do know that helped change the perception of women. Straight black pride, the brother Jarake. I do know that helped change the perception of women as far as who the desirable men were, because the whole pimp player hustler aesthetic became popularized via those movies. Before that, the racially responsible the Panthers was the dudes. The Panthers were that generation, young people. The Panthers were the men that were the desirable men. Women liked you. Women thought Bobby was cool. Women even like Eldred, even though he as problematic as it gets. Women liked Fred, Chairman Fred, and so forth and so on. Right? The other prominent brothers. You know what I'm saying? So that changed the dynamic. That helped kind of stall out the revolution there, so to speak. Right? So those are questions that I have. If anybody wants to come on in, anybody wants to come on and answer any of these questions or present even more questions. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm distracted by my phone. I don't know why. Right now. So, again, it's straight black love. Last in the 21st century. If black people can't repair the black family, then how exactly do we expect to survive in America? And can we continue down the road we're currently on and survive? Right. Those are the questions. So, here are the rules of the show. And remind me to put these up every week for those that don't know. Always be respectful to each other. Never use derogatory language towards black people or about black people. Women are not B's and H's. Such language is prohibited. Once is a mistake, twice is banishment. Black people are not N-words. We don't use the word. And you can speak with passion, but be respectful. Seek truth and understanding. Speak truth and avoid Zionist stereotypes about the complementary gender. All right, we cool with that? So, what I'm going to do, I am going to put the link in the chat, I think. Or at least that's the goal. So, see if that works. That's the link. If you would like to come on and talk about tonight's topic of discussion and add to the discourse, the time is now. Y'all know me. This is new for me. Brother, you got ripped off. Can you test to make sure that link works? I've seen other people do that. They just put their link in the chat and people come on. Test that for me. Please, good brother. So, oops. So what do y'all think? Right? Like, can we? Okay, yeah, I see you. Okay, cool. It works. All right, appreciate you, brother. So yeah, the link is in the chat. Anybody wants to come and add to the discussion? You want to agree or disagree? Excuse me, man. I'm setting the mood for the discussion. Talking about I got all that black bedroom music. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make sure we're relaxed. You know what I'm saying? So we can be in the mood to interact with each other in a peaceful, civilized manner. You know what I'm saying? No one, huh? Nobody. See? I got to get some disagreeable people. I can't even bring our producer on because she can't talk right now. I think I have to wait till next month that she can talk. All right, well, fine. Since no one else has anything to say, you know, I'm gonna carry this to 10:30, then I'm gonna get off of here. By the way, currently in, I guess you would say, negotiations to bring on a guest, not next week, but the week after. So there you go. And so I'll let you know that. Trying to get a righteous performer on. You know, it ain't many of those, right? It's not too many of our people doing art or music or poetry or any of that stuff that is, one, civilized, two, pro-black love, or any of those things. And our producer talking about she sound like Jigsaw before the song. I don't even remember what Jigsaw sounded like. I've seen that movie in years. All right, so, well, let me ask y'all a question first of all. For those who saw it, what do you think about the straight black oath? Yay or nay? And nobody responded. You know, because it's really a work in progress. I put it together literally today. Right, just like I need to make a new intro because my last intro was made by my producer who can't talk. So I need a new intro. So y'all tell me about that. Make what an opening to the program. The Black Oath. To this one or to the Senate? You got him. Oh, by the way, I forgot. I haven't even read that. Oh, here we go. Yep. For those that don't know, welcome to SBL Talk. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on my other social media Instagram at dc.radical1, on Twitter at dcradical_ONE, on OTW2 with Black owned free speech platform, Black woman owned free speech platform at DC Radical 1. You can donate via Cash App, $ DC Radical 1, and email me at dc.radical_1. I spelled that wrong, at protonmail.com. I gotta fix that. Don't let me forget that. Okay, the oath. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the opening of every show. I want to set the mood because people I expected, because of the subject matter, different people to watch the show and come into the show, and I just want to set the mood because when it comes to Black male-female relationships, oftentimes what I see is just Black people disrespecting each other and being triggered by each other and speaking from their trauma instead of speaking from their spirit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I put it together, and that's why that's why I started with that. I actually wasn't going to start with that, but it was a last minute inspiration from my ancestor. And fortunately, I had a clean, unread copy of the book that I could refer to and then update it to fit in with the straight Black paradigm. So thank to Mama Welsing for that. So y'all ain't got nothing, huh? Nope, nobody got nothing to say. Y'all agree, disagree? Feel like I left out something? Oh Lord, here you go, our producer sitting around making ridiculous Kamala jokes. But I didn't know what word salad was until I heard people using the term. I was like, what are they saying? And then I started listening to her, and then I started listening to some I heard people talking about interviews of the person that wrote the new Star Wars show or directed it or whatever. Maybe she wrote and directed. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is what word salad is. Because the words that these people are using are not forming any type of coherent thought whatsoever. I'm like, you're speaking English, but what you're saying still doesn't make sense. I mean, and some of these people be talking like, are you sure that only Joe Biden had the stroke and you didn't have one? What you're saying is not making any sense. I do not understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. Right? So, well, let me ask y'all, how many actual people on the ground that you know are excited about this Kamala Harris thing as we kind of veer away from the discussion only slightly, because it is tangentially related to the discussion? Because I feel like it's going to cause more vitriol between Black men and Black women. But what have y'all seen? Because maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. To be honest, hopefully I'm wrong. But what have y'all seen? I'll wait. I'll just let the music keep rolling. Sister Vanessa said the only people she's seen are clones and clowns online. Yeah, I mean, people online, brother said nothing. You got ripped off, said supporting Kamala shows you have no race pride. You want to know what's crazy about that, brother? Is that people, if you don't support her, they think you have no race pride. Like it doesn't even occur. It's very hard to get people to see that she's not black. Like I don't know. One day I just need to show on what is black, right? So I don't know what people's standards are. The standard of straight black pride movement are you have to have 3 of your 4 grandparents have to be discernibly right. That you can't get in straight black pride movement if that's not the case. She is obviously less than 50% black, and yet somehow you're not black if you don't support her, which is, you know what I'm saying? Just like, that doesn't make any sense logically. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and yet people are like willing to die on that hill. So I don't understand it, to be honest. I figured after the Obama thing, we couldn't fall for the same thing again. So I wasn't, even though I predicted it, I'm worried about it. But, and yet, here we are. You know, so we'll see how long this lasts. The media is just fawning over her and propping her up and hyping her up. And it's just interesting to see how quickly they turned in her direction, and the same, like literally some of the same, I've seen some of the same people, news people and pundits and whatnot, who were talking about how basically she was unelectable, unlikable, ill-prepared, and you know, all types of stuff. Now she's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I'm just like, okay, the media is going to just try to they're not even going to Jedi mind trick, they're going to Sith mind trick into saying that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So you know, it'll be interesting to see, it'll be interesting to observe. But I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of disappointed with tonight's turnout. What y'all think? Is it the time? Is it the topic? I ain't doing enough promo. Give me your thoughts before I close out, because I don't know. I expected at least, just like in real life when straight black pride does something, like one person will come out, pop up, and be like, I ain't gotta be straight. And why y'all hate people? And you know, that type of stuff. I kind of was at least expecting that. I was expecting somebody to disagree. I was expecting some sister to disagree. What'd you say, brother? He says the topic is scaring people. They don't want this conversation. I mean, people have the conversation. Are people tired of the conversation? If people have the conversation, or people don't want to have intelligent conversation, or is it because I put straight on it? Right? Is that it? I know people are scared. People used to be scared straight. Now they scared of straight. That's how bad it is. You know, somebody sent me a post. Kenyan brother. I meant to send it to Jeannie. Kenyan brother said that when he think of African Americans, he thinks of homophiles. He basically said he think we're a bunch of homos. I was like, well, that's just not good. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I can say. I'm just like, oh, we really doing something. What are they beaming over there? If that's what he. Brother Jaraki says majority of black people are confused about complexion and afraid to acknowledge how we have deviated from dark original melanin looks. Oh yeah, brother, I'm glad you mentioned that. Here's what's crazy. This is what I found crazy. There was a time where black men would have bigged up Kamala for, and maybe, you know, maybe if she was younger, this probably would still happen, maybe. But she would have been bigged up for, oops, hold on. Okay, hold on. We got somebody that's showing up. And I do not know who this is. So let me see this person. Let me see. What do they? Let me ask them. What would they like to discuss? But now I am distracted. What was I saying about Kamala? My friend told me that the word straight is derogatory. Are you serious? The blaxploitation. Okay. All right. So we are going to. All right, brothers and sisters, we are going to bring on Nappy Love, and they want to talk about the blaxploitation era or movies. So we're going to add them to the discourse. All right. By the way, is the music too loud? Y'all let me know. All right. You ready, brother? All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. And what name you going by?
Nappy Love.
All right, Nappy Love. And so what would you like to contribute to the discourse tonight?
The idea, just a little bit expand on the blaxploitation era. And what it turns into is it makes you have characters who have strong personalities, right? But the problem is caricatures of what really happened in the 60s, of the true Black Power, personalities. That's the problem of the blaxploitation. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the them peoples, produced the movies. So they did it to, project a certain type of blackness. You know what I'm saying? Right. There's nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with strong Black people having their own sense about themselves, standing on their own business. But when you have, the tropes in the movies, that's the twist. You know what I'm saying? That's where, if you want to be, if you get the girl, you have to be, do outlandish stuff, acting a fool, and not really having any. I mean, you know how the movies are. The plot lines are, pretty straightforward. It's like, he's a Black guy, do some business, you got to run around, figure out who the bad guy is, he gets double crossed, he has to, figure out who he is, he gets the girl type stuff, and right. In real life, and how we live our life, it's, people, it's an escapism, you know what I'm saying? Shaft wasn't no businessman, he like you say, he's a hustler. And it's a way of saying, well, if you want to be someone in this world, you gotta go about it a certain way. And so I think there's a lot of that. And as far as the women, you know what I'm saying, that the bad girl, you know what I'm saying? The bad girl type who, you know what I'm saying, don't need no man, can just rip wow, and you know what I'm saying, just captivate and bewilder and just be the center of attention, and not really with no, you know what I'm saying, like a whirlwind, can just go through, you know what I'm saying, the town and just, you know, just stir up everything. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want to take up too much time. You know what I'm saying? The aesthetic of the black exploitation, you know, has appeal, but once you really, you know, naturally just, you know, kind of think about it, you know, it's a projection. And that whole 70s era faded out of basically, you know what I'm saying, I think out of that film, kind of more in the music. That's kind of what I think happened. Yeah, so I think the solution basically is to, you know, you gotta have value in just intrinsic, you know, qualities in people, how the integrity, honor, you know what I'm saying, like being able to having a word is bond, making sure that as you interact with each other, you don't have to lie to kick it, you know.
Right.
And you know, that's you know what I'm saying, that if I think that, you know, like I said, you know what I'm saying, before television, movies, you know what I'm saying, we had our own events. We weren't seeing another perspective of events. If anything, what we would tell other people is, to the best of our recollection, as faithful of a description of what actually happened. Not just, we don't need to have the film and the, you know what I'm saying, the angles and the, you know what I'm saying, just projection. That's all I wanted to say, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I appreciate your input to the discussion, and you know, be sure to check us out, because we'll be doing this weekly, and we also have other shows on Sunday and Tuesday. So thank you for that, Nappy Love. We appreciate it.
Anytime, sir.
All right. So yeah, one point that the brother made is that it's very funny. The 80s, late 80s, early 90s era hip hop, as he alluded to, was very much let me put the rules back up. Let me see. What was I getting ready to say? That era of hip hop was very much influenced by the 70s. You can hear like Snoop Dogg's first album. You hear Dolomite, Snoop Dogg's first album. A lot of the West Coast rappers, especially, had a lot of obvious influence and samples from movies and whatnot from the blaxploitation era. So yeah, that is, unfortunately, it's been passed down enough to the point where it has become, we think it's our culture. Like when you hear people talking about doing it for the culture, they're not talking about black people's culture. They're talking about the hip hop culture that has been curated by the hats, right? So again, adding to our confusion, adding to the dysfunction in our communities and our relationships with each other. So yeah, again, these are the rules of the show. Always be respectful. Never use derogatory language towards black people, while women are not B's and H's and 304s and all that other stuff. Even if they call themselves that. If they call themselves that, you know, in reality, they're not our women. But anyway, black people are not N-words. You know, simple, basic rules. We appreciate it that everyone can follow those. We can get along peaceably. So, unless anyone else would like to add to the discourse, what I'm going to do is, Brother Jarrake said, you said Brother Jenny was on tonight? Okay, I didn't know that. I thought he was I didn't know he was starting his Thursday. shows. So, yeah, I had to remember that. But we're gonna do what we do here. But yeah, again, this is SBL Talk. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am DC Radical 1. You can follow me on Instagram at DC.Radical1, Twitter, DC Radical _ONE, on OTWTube at DC Radical 1. You can donate via the Cash App, $ DC Radical 1. And you can email me at DC.Radical_1 at protonmail.com. By the way, I guess I'll put it up tomorrow because I just got it. Brother Genie will be back in Baltimore Saturday, August 3rd, 2 p.m. for the Chopping It Up. And then the Straight Black Love 10th anniversary will be August 17th, Saturday, August 17th in Baltimore, Maryland at Terra Cafe. It was 101 East 25th Street in Baltimore. So be in the DMV area, support Terra Cafe. Black owned business. And they make good food. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We will definitely be on next Thursday, the first. Yeah, that's the first day of Black August. So yeah, we will definitely be on. And now Brother Elijah just says to me, the Black exploitation era didn't die. Hollywood just found ways to upgrade it to continue this function document. Right. I agree with that. So all right, well, let me do this. Going once. Going twice. Did anybody else have anything that they want to come on and say before we get out of here? You got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Apparently not. So with that, brothers and sisters, I say a BB for ODA and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at DC.Radical1. On Twitter, we're at DC_Radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $ DC Radical 1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.